Tonight on News Prime, CBN expresses doubts over 2 million barrel per day target. In business, Nigeria sets 15% African pharmaceutical market share target by 2030. On the foreign scene, death toll in Brazil bridge collapse rises to 10. And in sports, veteran basketball coach fired in United States. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. Let's begin by telling you the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has raised concerns about the aging pipeline infrastructure and operational inefficiencies, identifying them as key factors responsible for the decline in oil revenue during the third quarter of 2024, as a result of which it now says it doubts the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited's projection of hitting daily 2 million barrel per day oil production target. The Apex Bank, in its latest economic report, disclosed that oil revenue had plunged by 24.72% to 1.30 trillion naira, compared to the 1.73 trillion naira recorded in the second quarter of the current year. This figure also fell significantly short of the quarterly target by 75.39%, largely due to frequent shutdowns caused by deteriorating pipelines and installations. The CBN report, however, warned that Nigeria's goal of achieving an oil production target of 2 million barrels per day by the end of the current year remains under threat unless urgent measures are taken to address infrastructure and operational challenges. A fire incident at the Massacre Markets in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State has left many traders counting their losses. The fire reportedly started at about 10 p.m. and has left many of the traders devastated. Reports say traders lamented their losses, calling for government's intervention in the wake of their losses, while scavengers ransacked their ruins in search of valuables. A military veteran, Olumayowa Akogwa Abudu, has raised the concerns about alleged misappropriation and mismanagement of funds generated from the Nigerian Army emblem launch. Olumayowa, who is also the 2025 Ojo local government chairmanship aspirant, disclosed this in Lagos, where he alleged that the Nigerian Legion, established to support veterans, has been compromised under the leadership of a certain retired Major General. He stated that civilians without prior military experience are joining the Legion and participating in events such as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day alongside actual and verified veterans. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has notified residents of the Federal Capital Territory about impending blackouts in some areas. In a statement issued by its General Manager of Public Affairs, Ndidi Mba, the company says its engineers would conduct planned maintenance exercises at 2 transmission substations between Saturday and Sunday. TCN also noted that during the maintenance period, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, will not be able to supply electricity to customers in Gwagwalada and its environs for 4 hours only. Some officers attached to Ogun State Police Command have been arrested for allegedly demanding money from the family of a missing girl before taking action on the case. Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Police Force, Muyiwa Adejobi, disclosed this in a post on X, although he did not reveal the identities of the officers involved. Adejobi stated that they were being held in detention for disciplinary action. In the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force has advised members of the public to report any misconduct by police officers to their superiors, heads of the complaint response units in their state, or the Commissioner of Police in the command. This is contained in a statement signed by First Public Relations Officer ACP Muyiwa Adejobi. He warned the public to exercise caution when approached by officers or individuals claiming connections with the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, or any senior police officer for the purpose of exploitation. Adejobi then provided phone contacts where the public could lodge formal complaints against erring police officers. In another development, human rights lawyer Femi Falana SAN says the Nigeria Police Force should be held accountable for the deaths of Nigerians during recent field stampedes in Oyo, Abuja, and Anambra. He made this statement while delivering a public lecture in memory of late former governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, in Akure, the state capital. The senior lawyer stated that the police had failed to fulfill their constitutional duties, leading to the deaths and injuries, and described the casualties as unacceptable. Falana called on government to compensate the families of those who lost their loved ones due to these failures. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Anambra State, Corps Commander Joyce Alexander, has paid a courtesy visit to the Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty Igwe Alfred Achebe. In a statement by the Sector Public Education Officer, FRSC Anambra State Command, Margaret Onabe, the sector commander emphasized the FRSC's mission to reduce traffic crashes and create a safe motoring environment, acknowledging the monarch for his ongoing support of the Corps in Anambra State. Alexander stated that collaboration with critical stakeholders and public enlightenment are key elements to ensuring safer roads, especially during the festive season. The federal government says it will conduct a thorough investigation into the accidental bombing that killed 10 people in Gidambisa and Runtuwa villages in Silame local government area of Sokoto State on Christmas Day. Minister of State Defense Bello Matawale gave the assurance during a condolence visit to Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Aliu. The government's assurance coincided with clarifications by the Defense Headquarters that the death of 10 civilians in Gida Bisa and Gida Runtuwa in Silame local government area of the state was as a result of a secondary explosion and not direct military airstrikes. The presidency says a claim by a military leader of Niger Republic, Abdurrahmani Chani, that Nigeria is colluding with France to destabilize his country are designed to create bad blood between northern Nigeria and President Bola Tinubu. Special advisor to the president on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, said this in a video posted on X page. Bwala said the claims are baseless propaganda designed to create chaos and incite bad blood in northern Nigeria against Tinubu, noting that Chinese choice of Hausa language of the north to convey his propaganda message laid credence to the fact that he is bent on waging war of words against the present administration. Meanwhile, residents of border communities in Sokoto State have dismissed allegations of the presence of the French army in the area. This comes after the head of the military junta in Niger Republic, in a recently circulated video, accused President Bola Tinubu and some members of his administration of colluding with the French army to attack Niger. Reports have, however, confirmed that the allegations are baseless. Speaking to newsmen at his palace, the traditional ruler of Bale in Gudu local government area of Sokoto State, Aminu Aliu, denied the existence of any foreign military camp in his territory. And back at home, Niger's President Abdurrahmani Chani is reportedly facing a backlash of criticism from his fellow countrymen following his recent allegation of a conspiracy by Nigeria against his country. This comes as many Nigerian citizens reacted to the president's allegations on social media, to Chinese saying there is no credibility whatsoever in the allegations. Some of them are of the view that the Nigerian leader is looking for an excuse to hang his failure in office after 17 months of ousting his predecessor, Mohamed Bazoum, in a palace coup. Let's take a look at other stories tonight, and we turn to Delta State now, where the traditional ruler of Ogwashuku Kingdom, Obi Ifechikude Okonjo, has called on communities to respect court judgments concerning disputed lands. The monarch made these statements, signed by the palace secretary, Prince Ifeanyichukwu Emodi, and made available to journalists in Asaba, the state capital. The youth from Obulu Okiti community in Aniocha South local government area of the state had staged a protest alleging land grabbing. Youth president of Obulu Okiti, Ifechukwude Owambuebu claimed that Ogwachukwu Kingdom has unlawfully taken community land. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime here on Global Television, coming to you from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns shortly, death toll in Brazil bridge collapse rises to 10. Details of these, as well as business and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please do stay with us. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time with us. Now let's turn to business. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, says the presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain is set to boost Nigeria's pharmaceutical market share in Africa with a target of at least 15% by 2030. Sharing this information on his X account, Pate also disclosed that the initiative targets increasing local manufacturing of pharmaceutical products to meet at least 70% of the nation's domestic demand by 2030. Providing updates on the pharmaceutical presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain, the health minister emphasized the administration's resolve to turn the health sector into a hub for manufacturing and job creation. Nigeria's imported feed inflation surged to 42.29% in November of the current year. This is according to the Consumer Price Index (CPI) report released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). It represents a significant rise from 23.74% recorded in November of 2023, marking an 18.55 percentage point year-on-year increase. On a month-on-month basis, the inflation rate increased from 40.96% in October 2024, a 1.33 percentage point rise in just 1 month, which highlights the relentless upward trajectory of imported food inflation throughout 2024, again which began at 26.29% in January. China's central bank says it has renewed a bilateral currency swap agreement with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The People's Bank of China said in a statement on its website that the total value of the agreement is 15 billion yuan, which is about 2.09 billion US dollars or 3.28 trillion naira. The development was confirmed by the Special Advisor, Information and Strategy to President Bola Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga. The statement further noted that the agreement is valid for 3 years and can be renewed upon mutual consent, adding that the renewal of the currency swap arrangement will strengthen financial cooperation between China and Nigeria, expand the use of two currencies, and promote and facilitate bilateral trade and investment. The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has promised to galvanize the Niger Delta Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Trade, Mines and Agriculture with 30 billion naira counterpart fund for the development of young entrepreneurs. The NDDC Managing Director, Samuel Ogboku, said this during an interview with newsmen at the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital. This is contained in a statement issued by NDDC Director of Corporate Affairs, Seledi Thompson Wakama. Ogboku restated the Commission's commitment to empowering the region's people through economic programs, as he highlighted the agency's role in training youth, supporting SMEs, and designing industry-friendly skill development programs. Let's take it beyond the shores of Nigeria now. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has filed a brief urging the Supreme Court to pause a law that will ban TikTok the day before his January 20 inauguration if it is not sold by its Chinese owner, ByteDance. Trump's legal team said in light of the novelty and difficulty of this case, the court should consider staying the statutory deadline to grant more breathing space to address the issues. Trump was fiercely opposed to TikTok during his first term and tried in vain to ban the video app on national security grounds. The Republican voiced concerns echoed by political rivals that the Chinese government might tap into U.S. TikTok users' data or manipulate what they see on the platform. Authorities say the death toll after a bridge collapse in northern Brazil has increased to 10. The Jolenshino Kubishek, the Oliveira Bridge, which connects the states of Maranhão and Tocantins, collapsed on Sunday, sending vehicles and their occupants plunging into the water below. The Brazilian Navy had been conducting rescues in the area, finding an additional body 6 kilometers or 3.7 miles from the accident site and a second victim in the Tocantins River. More than 70 rescuers continued the search nearly a week after the collapse, using a hyperbaric chamber to allow divers search depths of more than 30 meters, equivalent to 100 feet. That's some piece of heart-wrenching story there. Senior members of Canada's cabinet have held talks with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's nominees to lead the Departments of Commerce and Interior as Ottawa works to hold off the threat of punishing tariffs. Canada's newly appointed Finance Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, and Foreign Minister Melanie Joly met with Howard Lutnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee, who will also lead the country's tariff and trade agenda. Interior Secretary nominee Doug Burgum was also at the meeting held at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Let's quickly catch some excitements from sports now. Reports say former D-Tigers coach and Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown has been relieved of his duties after poor runs this season. Brown, who joined the Kings in 2022, led the team to their first playoff appearance since 2006 in his inaugural season, achieving a 48-34 record. His impressive performance earned him the NBA Coach of the Year award in 2023, becoming the first coach to receive unanimous recognition with all 100 votes. However, the Kings have struggled this season, having a 13-18 win-loss record. This unexpected dismissal comes as a surprise to the basketball community, especially considering that Brown signed a contract extension in July after guiding the franchise to the playoffs in 2022-2023 and securing a playoff in sports the 23-2024 campaign. Our United Kingdom publication has reported that English Premier League giants Arsenal have identified Nigeria international Samuel Chukwueze as a potential replacement for injured England international Bukayo Saka. Saka suffered a hamstring injury in Arsenal's 5-1 win over Crystal Palace and is expected to be out of action for a significant period. Saka could now be absent for around 2 months, though the report notes that the England star would have required surgery had he torn his hamstring from the bone. And still talking football, a court has rejected Barcelona's appeal for the precautionary registration of Dani Olmo for the rest of the season. This means that the Spain international may not play for the club from January 1. The 26-year-old attacking midfielder Olmo was signed from German side RB Leipzig for a reported 60 million euros, equivalent to 51 million pounds in August, but was registered only for the first half of the season, as Barcelona could not meet La Liga's wage cap restrictions. La Liga welcomed a court's decision to reject the club's appeal. Let's look at tennis for a second. Nick Kyrgios has lashed out at what he believes is the lenient treatment of world tennis #1 Italian Jannik Sinner for a failed drug tests and said integrity in the sport is awful. Sinner twice tested positive for the banned steroid Metabol in March. However, the International Tennis Integrity Agency accepted his argument that the steroid entered his system due to contamination from his physiotherapy and opted not to suspend him. The World Anti-Doping Agency subsequently appealed the decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, with a verdict pending. Kyrgios has been scathing about the International Tennis Integrity Agency decision in the past and did not hold back in a press conference ahead of his return to the game at the Brisbane International after an 18-month injury layoff. To end News Prime tonight on Global Television, here is a quick look at the summary. The Central Bank of Nigeria has raised concerns about the aging pipeline infrastructure and operational inefficiencies in Nigerian oil and gas sector, identifying them as key factors responsible for the decline in oil revenue during the third quarter of 2024, as a result of which it says it doubts the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited's projection of hitting daily 2 million per barrel in oil production. In business, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Party, has announced that the presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain is set to boost Nigeria's pharmaceutical market in Africa with a target of at least 15% by 2030. On the foreign scene, authorities say the death toll after a bridge collapse in northern Brazil has increased to 10. And in sports, reports say former D-Tigers coach and Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown has been relieved of his duties after poor runs this season. And that's it on Global Television News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. We encourage all of our viewers across the world to interact, subscribe, and engage with us using our Global TV NG as well as other handles now showing on your screen. On behalf of the entire production team here tonight, domiciled at the world headquarters of Global Television in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I'm Uyi Agumofugwe saying thank you for your time and we'll see you again.